Hello guys, welcome to my channel SkyHub. So today at day 6, we will build our forgot password functionality by using Gmail. For achieving this, we use crypto and node mailer library, and at the end we create reset password route. So first we create forget password route and later we create reset password route. So let's start. Now open our VS Code. So inside our VS Code, first go to our backend directory, change directory, backend. Now today we will build our forget password functionality. So for that, let's first see how the forget password functionality works in the LeetCode website. So let's open your Google Chrome and search for LeetCode website. So this is our LeetCode website. So click on sign in. So this is our LeetCode login page or sign in page. Here the Cloudflare middleware works for verifying that the user is really a human or a bot. Here is our forget password functionality. Let's click it. So for password reset, we have to enter our email address below, and the LeetCode will send you an email. So basically the forget password flow is, first, as soon as we click on forget password, then we send a get request to get the forget password page. After submitting the email ID and clicking on the reset my password, then user submit their email by using post request. So it initiates a process to the server, and it also generates a unique token. So since this action that changes server state by creating a token and sending an email that involves the sensitive data, so we send a post request. Then next, the LeetCode will send an email on the email address which the user here provided. So on that email there is a link to reset their password, and when the user clicks the unique link in the email, they send again the get request to fetch the page of reset password. Then again, after submitting their new password, then confirm password, the user sends again the post request to the server. So that's the flow. Now let's build our forget password functionality. So go to our VS Code. Here first create the route. So user router dot post slash password slash forgot. and for function we call forget password. So we have to send two post requests, so we must create two post routes. So first is forget slash password, next is slash forget slash reset for resetting our password. So from controller, user controller, we have to require it. So basically this route slash forget slash password slash forgot is used to initiate the password reset process. When a user submits their email, the application makes a post request to this endpoint, and then the forget password calls, which is executed to generate the token. Then the token is converted into hash to save in our database, and then it will send the reset link to the email. So slash password slash reset route is used to finalize the password reset. After the user clicks the link in the email and submits their new password, the application makes a post request, and then the token part of the path is a URL parameter that captures the raw reset token. So we also have to pass our token here. So that the reset password function validates the token and updates the user password. And for updating the password, we must have to hash it using bcrypt. So now the flow is the user clicks on the forget password, then it sends the get request to fetch the form of forget password. Then after user submits their email address, the endpoint post request called, which is slash password slash forgot, and for result a unique time limited reset link is sent to the user's email. Then after the user opens their email, and inside the email he clicks the link to enter a new password, and after submit the password, it sends a post request to the endpoint slash password slash reset colon token. Then in result the new password is saved to the database, which is a new hash password, and the reset token is invalidated. For this, in our models, in user model, we created two parameters: forget password token, which is in string format, which stores the token, and forget password expire, which stores the token expiry date. So as soon as the expiry date is gone, so the reset link is not in the working state. Now go to our controllers, user controller, and let's start building our forget password function. So const forgot password is equal to async request response So first we create try catch block to handle errors like user not found, database errors, and email sending failures. Now inside our try block, we first require the email ID which is sent by the user inside the forget password form. So we first destructures the email from the request.body. Const email is equal to request.body. Then after that we will find the user by using find one command and sending the email ID. Const user equal to await user.find1 email. So this line queries the database, which is MongoDB database, inside our user model to find the user document matching the provided email. Next, if the user is not found in our database, then we throw a new error, which is user does not exist. So it checks if the user was not found. So if so, it throws an error which is jump execution to the catch block. Now after that, if the user found, then we have to generate our forget password token. So for that, let's create a reset token constant. So as we also know, when creating the JWT token, JSON Web Token, we use crypto library. So this time we install crypto library as npm I crypto inside our backend. So our crypto library is installed. So all the modules are stored inside the node modules. So first we have to require it inside our user controller. Const crypto is equal to required crypto. As we previously also seen that first we use crypto dot random byte, let's say 32. Then after that, creating the random byte, we have to convert it into two string. But the two string is not in the understandable format, so we converted into hexadecimal. Now our 32 bytes hexadecimal string is created. After that, we must have to hash this token before storing it inside the MongoDB database. So const hash token as reset token equal to crypto dot create hash we send in which hashing algorithm we want to hash our token. So here we use SHA 256. So here are some hints: SHA 256, SHA 512. Let's say SHA 256. After that, we have to give our token. So dot update here we pass our reset token. Then after that, have to convert it into hexadecimal. So for this, use digest method. Here pass hex. That's it. Now our token is hashed and stored in our hash reset password. After that, we have to update it into our MongoDB database. For this, have a field inside our user model which is forget password token. So from user dot forget password token, we stored our new hash reset token. So first here we uses nodejs crypto module to create a raw random 32 byte string which is basically our token. So next we hashes the raw token using the SHA 256. Now this hash is stored in the database for security. So as we know that this is a bad practice to store the raw data which is this reset token. So we must have to hash it before storing it inside our MongoDB database. Now after that, we assign the hash token to the forget password token field on the user document, user model.js. So after setting the user password token, we also set its expire time. So user dot forgot password expired is equal to date.now plus 30 to 60 into 1000. So we set the token expire time to 30 minutes from the current time, which is date.now. After that, we save it inside our MongoDB database. So await user.save here we pass validate for save equal to false. So it persists that the updated user document with the token and expire time to the database gives the full schema validation, because we have some required field which is password, mail. After that, we have to create our reset password URL, which we send inside our email message. So const reset password URL is equal to http localhost third slash password slash reset, and we also have to send reset token. So here the reset token is not hash, it is the simple reset token, because it is only the demonstration purpose. This link is not working. We will set it later when we create our front end, and for sending the GET request, this link is used. Now we construct the full reset URL embedding the raw reset token for the user to click. So after the user clicks onto that email, a get request is sent and the reset password form is open. Inside form, this reset token is also available. So now after sending the post request for successful updating the new password, these reset token are hashed again, and then we check our database token and this token are valid or not. So next we have to create our message. This is shown inside our email. So for message, create a const message is equal to static use the following link to reset your password. Next line, we write this link will expire in 30 minutes. In next line, if you did not request a password reset, then please ignore this message. After saving this message, we have to send this to the user. So for sending, we create a new file inside our utils, which is sendMail. So for sending mail, we want some fields. First is email ID, second is the subject, and third is the message, which is displayed inside the email. So for this, use await send email. The send email function is called and inside send email, we send email, which is basically user.email ID. Next, we send subject, which is password reset request. Next, send our whole message, which const message. So here we construct our whole URL, then creates the body text of the email, which includes the full set password URL and the expiration warning that it is expired in 30 minutes. Next, we calls an external function which is send email to asynchronously send the email with the reset link. It provides the user email, a subject, and the message body. So now let's build our sendMail.js. Let's see how we will send an email with their reset token to the user. So for this, we use nodemailer npm package, npm I nodemailer. Now let's go to the Google Chrome and check the nodemailer. npm nodemailer. Our nodemailer package. So basically, nodemailer sends email from node.js. Easy to kick. All we use node I npm I nodemailer. Here are the nodemailer documentation. So to configure our nodemailer, want host port. Now let's go to our JS code. First, we have to require our nodemailer const required const nodemailer equal to required. After that, we create a send email function. Here, fetch all the options provided inside our send email function. So after create, have to export our send email function to module dot exports equal to send email. So now let's create our send email function. So first, we have to create our transporter who transports the data from the primary server to the user's email, to the user's Gmail. So for creating transporter, const transporter equal to nodemailer dot create transport. So we use create transport function of nodemailer create transporter. Then inside create transport, we first want the service in which service want to send this email. So we choose email for this. Next, we authenticate the admin who is responsible to sending the mail to the user. So we check auth. Here we want the user sends this. So basically this is sender email. And next we want their app password. So for creating app password, we have to go to our email. So let's open our Google Chrome, search email ID, basically the admin Gmail. This is my Gmail. Now click on this. Now click on profile and then manage your Google account. After that, go to the security and sign in. Here we want to set our app password. So we search app password. But as you can see that app password is not available here. So for that, first we have to set up our two-step verification to enable the app password setup. So first enable two-step verification. Step verification turned on. Then again go to our manage Google account. Then on security and sign in. Now search app password. So here you can see that our app passwords option is enabled. Click on it. So in app name, let's say we give it nodemailer. Then create. So this is your app password. So now copy it. Done. So here your app password nodemailer is created. After that, open your VS Code, and for password we stored it into our environmental variable. So here we create First, for service, we create SMTP service. Next, we create SMTP mail. Next, for app password, we create SMTP password. So here our service is Gmail. Our mail is sihub0399@gmail.com. And our app password is this. Now update this value by fetching it into the .env file. So here process.env dot here we send SMTP mail, and here SMTP password. So till now, first we create an email transporter object. This object holds the configuration needed to connect to the email service provider, which is basically our Gmail. After that, we set the email service provider, which is Gmail, using the SMTP service. Environmental variable. Next, we start the authentication object, providing the login credential for the SMTP service. After that, he uses the SMTP mail environmental variable for the sender's email address, which is basically the username for the SMTP account. After that, we uses SMTP password environmental variable for the corresponding password, which is app password for the SMTP account. Here auth is terminated. Next, after that we closes the create transport method. So after that we have to define our mail option, which specifies the content and recipients of the email being sent. So from admin to the user, what is the subject and what is the message. These all things we specify inside our mail option. So const mail option equal to first from, next to, next subject, and at the end message, basically text. So inside from, it specifies the sender of the email, usually matching the email set in the transporter's auth block. So inside transporter auth block, this is the email. Copy it from here, paste it there. Now to basically the user's email ID, which is send inside our send email option, which is basically inside our options argument. So here we use options.email. For subject, use options.subject. And for text, use options.message. So first we specify the sender email. Next we specify the recipient's email address taken from the options object passed to send email. Next we set the subject line of the email taken from the options object. Next we set the plain text body of the email, which contains the password reset link taken from the options object, and after that we closes the main options object. So next, for sending an email, we use send email function, which is basically inside our transporter. So await transporter dot send here we pass all the mail options. Then after these all things, we export the module. Next, go to the user controller. Here, after sending the send email successfully, we sends response as response.status 200. .json success to next message static displayed email is sent to user.email ID successfully. and if any error occurs, then first we undefine the forget password token, because let us assume that the token is created and it is updated inside the MongoDB database, and after that here any other error occur, then it will resides in our MongoDB database. So we must assign it a value as undefined. The user dot forgot password token is equal to undefined. Next, user dot forgot password expired also undefined. Next, have to save it inside our user database, MongoDB database. Await user dot save validate before save false. After that, prints our error message, response dot status 500 dot send error dot message. That's it. After that, you have to export this slash forgot password function. So here, if the email is successfully sent, then a successful response HTTP 200 OK is returned to the client. And if any error occur, then it catches inside the catch block. And for security cleanup, we assign the forget password token and forget password expired as undefined. So if an error occurred after the token was assigned but before the process completed, this code clears the token from the database to prevent a exploitable token. After that, save it inside our database, and then we send an error response HTTP 500, which is internal server error, back to the client with the error detail. Now starts our server and checks really works or not. Our app is crashed. An error argument handler must be a function. Our node, our source route. Here is the first comment. Then our both the database connected successfully. First Redis and second is MongoDB, and server is listening at port number 3000. After that, open your Postman get a new HTTP post request. Localhost slash user slash password slash forgot. Save it. Sends our post request. Post request must have to send our email inside the body JSON format. First go and sign up the user. Registered successfully. Then log in the user. Logged in successfully. Then log out the user. Logged out successfully. User is created. Copy their email and sends the forget password. But first, let's check inside the MongoDB the user is created or not. When your MongoDB refresh, then the user which email ID is ihub99@gmail.com is created. Now after that, we send the post request. Here their hash password is $3 and at the end z/0. Now open your and we have to send our post request to /user /password /forward. Sends 500 internal server error. It is not defined. Controller 128. When your controller 128 await. For querying the database, our MongoDB, we use user schema. So this user basically the user which is required from the user model and it is stored inside the user small u. So here we have to update the user forget password token. User.save Now our server is start successfully. Again, when your man sends the post request, again change the reference error at line 125. Go to the VS Code. So here it shows that we want to fetch the user inside our catch block, but it is defined our try block. So there is scope reference error. So to tackle this, we create the user outside the try block and catch block. Make it global for the try and catch. Let the So here we don't use const because later we stored the user value inside our try block. So here user is equal to this. After that our scope error is gone. Now again when your man sends the post request, so now again it shows type error, cannot set properties of null, forget password token. So open your VS Code. Here is forget password token is null. First check what's the value is inside our user. Server is started. Inside our user it is null. So it is null because we want only email address from request.body. So for this we have to destructure the email. Now this is gone. Again postman send request. So at that time send email is not defined. So our send email is not defined. Let's require it. Here it's send email. Now our both the database is connected successfully. Server is listening at port number 3000. Again open your postman, send the forget password to email is sent to skyhub032399@gmail.com successfully. Now open your, so inside Google Chrome there is the email password reset request. Open it. Here use the following link to set your password. The link, the token. The link will expire in 30 minutes. If you did not request a password reset, please ignore this message. Now go to your MongoDB. Open your MongoDB and here that our forget password token and forget password expiry is not showing. Refresh. Now it is showing here. This is the forget password expired and this is the forget password token. So our /password/forget route is works successfully. Now go back to VS Code and check our user.password token is equal to undefined. It works or not. For this, let's create an error like remove this line. So now here first email is fetched, the query is run and we get our user. Set password is created, has it and stored it inside our forget password token, and we also set our forget password expired. After that there is an error created by us, so that after this line, because here reset password URL is needed, it throws an error. So here gives error reset password URL is not defined. Now check into our MongoDB. Open MongoDB and let's refresh our database. So now the value is gone. So this functionality is working fine. Now send request /password/ forgot. The email is sent to this successfully. Now open your Mongo and here expired and token is created, and then open your Google Chrome and here we received our email. So now let's say if the user is not found inside our MongoDB database. For this, let's delete our user. Then after that, send a post request /password/forgot. Then it sends error 500 internal server error. Cannot set properties of null controller user controller .js 139 in your VS Code. So here it gives error and our user.forget password token is undefined, but it is already null. So how can define it undefined. So to tackle this situation, have use if user is found, then do these things. Otherwise, leave it. If user again 136 at line 1. Now user is not found, but again we want to save it. For this, here we use await function. To tackle this, we can use try and catch method inside our catch block. Try inside our try block. Here we can console our error error entering password hit token. Send message in go to sends the and error and found it user does not exist. Here we get error clearing password reset token cannot read properties of null. Now can tackle this situation also. Now go to our and get our user is registered successfully. Our forget password request send successfully. When your mouse press and successfully generate forget password expire and forget password token. So now let's check what happened if we give the wrong email ID /password/forget route. let's say skyhub99@gmail.com, which is not present in our MongoDB database. Yes, our database is not present. Our post, but it gives success message. An email is sent to this. So that means our email is not fetched here. It automatically fetches the first ID in our MongoDB database. Check again. Let's create some other sign up. 99. So now we have 3 users. Let's delete the first one. Now we have 2 users. I have 099, Sky HB 099. Then post request as password as forgot. skyhub99 is not present in our MongoDB database, but it sends the successful response. Email is sent to skyhub099@gmail.com. Skyhub099 is basically our first user into our database. So what's happened there? Let's discuss about that. Now go to our VS Code and let's check from request.body email is fetched or not. Console.log email. Again, that it is undefined. So basically it happens because in request.body sends email ID this, but side our VS Code fetch email from request.body, which is basically our email ID. So basically here request.body is missing the email property because we have email ID property. So it will set the local variable email to undefined. This undefined. So now it searches for the document where the email field is literally null or undefined. So if the query is interpreted loosely, and it might sometimes returns the first document found inside our MongoDB database. Inside our MongoDB database, the first document is this. So it returns this document. And this issue is major database driver or configuration issue. Now again go to our VS Code and set system email ID. Then inside email ID, again inside our postman sends the post request, and at that time we found error, user does not exist. So that's okay. Now let's create our reset password route. Const set password is equal to async request response. First we create try block, then catch. After that we put it inside our the route, create route for reset password with their token, and inside we also require the reset password function. Now let's go to the controller inside our try block. So in reset password we get token from the user, and we know that the token is in raw form. So first we need to hash the incoming raw token, the user provided token, from the URL request.params.token using SHA-256 for matching the value the hash stored in our database. And if the both hashed value is matched, then and we check also the its expire time, then only we gives access the user to reset their password. So for that, const forgot password token is equal to crypto.create hash inside it we send SHA-256 send dot update side we have to send the user token. So how we get the user token? So it is inside our route, basically slash password slash reset and token. So for this use request dot params dot token. Then we need to digest it with hex. That's it. Now we hash the forget password token which is given by the user. After that, we query our data to find the user. So for that, we have two conditions. First, the hash token matches the stored token. And second, the token expiry time, which is forgot password expired. And how to check it is expired or not? So if the forget password expired is greater than the current time, date.now, yours the token is not expired. But if the forget password expire time is less than the current time, so that means the token is expired. So for this, const user is equal to await user.find1. Now we send first forget password token which has and if it matches with the hash token which is already inside our database, then we checks forget password expired. For this, greater than gt $gt from date.now. So it is greater than date.now. So it means the token is not expired. If the user is not found, then we throw new error. User does not exist or reset password token is valid. After that, if the user is valid, now we get our password and confirm password from request.body. Const password confirm password from request.body. As user sent password and their confirm password. After that, we check that if password is not equal to confirm password, then we throw new error, password does not match. Password does not match. After that, if the password matched, then we know that it is in plain text. So we need to hash it before storing it inside our MongoDB database. For this, const new password equal to await decrypt.hash, we send password and its salting value as 10. After that, stored it inside user password. User dot password is equal to new password. After setting the user new password inside our MongoDB database, then we clears the token and expire time. After that, user dot forget password token equal to undefined, and user dot forget password expired is equal to undefined. After that, save after that save the password inside our MongoDB database. For this, we send response.status as 200. .json success to message password set successfully. And inside our catch block, send status code response.status 400. dot send error let's understand one by one. So first we defines the asynchronous express route handler function named setPassword. After that we start try catch block and we hashes first we hashes the incoming raw token which is not hashed, and we use SHA-256 algorithm for this. After that we find the user by sending forget password token and observing their forget password expire time. If it is greater than time dot now, then then it is found, or else it throws an error. After that, if user is not found, then it throws an error and aborting the process. After that, we destructures the password and confirm password fields from the request body, which contains the new password the user submitted. So after getting the new password and confirm password, we check that both are matched or not. If they don't, an error is thrown. Password does not match. After that, before storing the new password inside our MongoDB database, we must have to hash it. So we hash the new password using bcrypt.hash library. After that, storing the new password inside our user password. After that, we need to initialize our forget password token to undefined and forget password expired to undefined, so that later the reset password link is not valid. If we not set it here, so that until it is not expired, the reset password token is valid. So we clears the use token from the database, prevent replay attack. After that, we clears the expire time associated with undefined. After that, we saves the updated user document, which is basically new password and cleared token field the database. Then we sends a successful response HTTP 200 OK back to the client confirming the password has been changed. And if any error occur, we catches it and sends an error response HTTP 400 bad request back to the client. Now let's check our /password/reset token field. Our server is both our database is connected successfully. Server is at port number 1000. So now open your Postman. First sign up skyhub 2399 @gmail.com and password is skyhub @123. send registered successfully. Write our forget password. And inside request.body, send our email. Then send post request. Now success true message. Mail is sent to skyhub0399@gmail.com. Now open your Google Chrome. Here you see I got password request, set request now at 3:36 a.m. So here is our link. Let's click on it. It will not open because after we click, I will send a GET request. So this is our client side request. Let's copy our token from here. Then open our Postman, new HTTP, /password /forgot /password /reset के बाद /token. Inside our body, send new password. Send password and confirm password. Let's first save it. Our server is starting and again we are connected. Now sends the post request. Now this is our error, cannot post /user /password /reset token. The route here as column token. This cannot be structure property password of request.body as it is defined. Password because here text but we send our JSON. Now send again. Confirm password is not defined. First, second, let now our both database is connected and server is listening at port 3000. Now password reset success. AG it. Now it will R2. And so after that, it sends that user does not exist or reset password token is invalid because we have changed our password one time. So now the forget password token becomes undefined. So our reset password works successfully. That's all for today. Thank you.